Hey guys, today, new series for us. We've got Ted Ramirez here from Caribou Gear and Koyukan. Say it right.
Koyukan Gear.
Koyukan Gear.
Yep.
We're gonna start something new today. We're gonna do what we call pump in a pod. So we're gonna do our workout first, and then we're gonna go upstairs into the booth and we're gonna get into our podcast, talk a little bit more about what Ted does, talk about their companies and the great stuff they're putting out.
All right, everybody, we are back into the podcast studio. Switch configurations today. We just finished our first. I'm going to give our guest today the credit, Ted Ramirez from Caribou Gear and Koyukan, based here out of Colorado. Met through our hitting instructor, Brooks, and now we've seen each other multiple times at shows and, exhibit freaking huge events and stuff like that. I know we got a couple coming up, but excited to have you. Number one, thanks for the workout. Making me look bad.
I did not. And thank you for having me. Honestly,
Man.
Wanted to see what it was all about. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Well, it's kind of fun. I'm hoping maybe this idea will be something that catches on. And like I said, I'll give you credit because you and I talked beforehand, and you're like, "Hey, you want to get a workout?" And I was like, "That's a cool idea." Like actually, because we talk all the time about training for the backcountry and all these other things. And I was like, when we have people come in, why don't we do that? So, you'll be the honorary founder of the pod and a pump or whatever the heck we call it moving forward.
Pump in a pod, I think.
Pump in a pod or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully there might be something. Don't Google that. Probably would be a bad idea. But Ted is the president, right? Owner?
Yes.
Of Caribou Gear and Koyukan. Let's start by talking about you guys, talking about what you do. You guys have I scoured your website, in the last week or so, kind of like I always like to try and see everything, right? Like, did I miss anything? Is there something that I should, learn more about, whatever? But tell people more about what you guys do. Tell me maybe, let's go back further than that. Like, it's a family-owned company. You guys started the company, right? Start there.
Yeah. So back in 2008, my parents started the company, and it was just out of a passion of hunting. Wanted to be in the outdoors, and that's where the dream came for at the time, it was just a reusable game bag.
Yeah.
And it kind of changed everything for us. And it was a big investment. I remember me being a little kid, my dad sitting us down. He's like, we're gonna invest into this business that I want to start. And at the time, being a little kid, you don't fully understand
Right.
what that means and how important everything is that goes into it. So yeah, it was a pretty big investment, and trying to start something out of nothing it's kind of the American dream, to be honest with you.
For sure.
And my parents didn't come from much, and it was a passion thing, and they were high school sweethearts as well. They went to Westminster High School.
Nice.
And that's where they met, and so yeah, that's just the backstory of that. But it was just the dream of hunting, and I'm just trying to get in the industry. So it was the reusable game bag. It took years to manufacture and have that process going. And once we did, it was just gangbusters, traveling around store after store, trying to promote Caribou Gear as the brand and game bags. And fortunate enough for us, we were able to land in Sportsman's Warehouse around that first year in, which was huge for us. And that really skyrocketed us to where we are at today.
Yeah.
So, but Caribou Gear now, we have our own warehouse. We're based out of Parker, Colorado. We have game bags for array of species, as I'm sure you saw on the website. From there, though, we have rifle covers, tarps, shelters, and then a lot of other hunting accessory gear items too, such as bullet wallets, lanyards, GPS holsters. And then from there, we did also come out with our new brand too, called Koyukan Gear. And that's waterproof duffel bags as well.
Yeah. And you and I talked about that a little bit, like during the workout, because I was like, is Koyukan like just like a partner? Is Koyukan like, a sister company type thing? And from what I gathered, like the Koyukon line stems a lot from, you guys' experience hunting in Alaska, knowing that
Yes.
like you need these like super like durable, waterproof, like these things need to be like bulletproof for the, all of the conditions that you face on those types of hunts. Is that right?
100%. So all of our products from Caribou Gear line to the Koyukon line is based on just self-guided hunting Alaska. So we put it through the ringer there first, and then that's when, if it works and it's quality enough, we mass produce it for customers. So everything we stand behind is just quality stuff and functionality.
Right.
Kind of like the workouts.
Yeah.
Functional product that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Is the main thing for us.
For sure. It's like the hair club for men, right? It's like, not only am I the owner, I'm also a client or whatever the heck that guy said.
See that commercial, but I trust it. It's something along those lines. Yeah.
Something along this. So like you went out, tested, put these things through the ringer,
Oh, yeah.
Before. And I think there's like so much to be said. I feel like a lot of the products that you see in the outdoor space, like stem from that type of thing. Like people look for have a problem and they look for a solution, right? They see something and they're like, I wish this operated this way. I wish this functioned this way, right? And I think in today's day and age, you see a lot more of people being willing to like go see if they can figure out how to do stuff. You saw a snippet of that out here today.
Yes,
the
3D printers.
Yeah,
cool stuff.
we're working on some cool stuff here, hush hush, that hopefully, maybe it'll be our Caribou gear someday or something like that. But, I think it's cool to see, and like the game bags especially, right? Like I remember growing up, 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? And in like buying game bags and like these cloth game bags.
The canvas ones.
Yeah.
So that's really where, if we go into more detail, my dad went to Alaska in 2001. And at the time, it was like, okay, the canvas game bags, you get those because that's just the toughest thing out there.
Yeah.
You would get them from Sportsman's Warehouse.
Yeah.
And it was great. And he wasn't experienced it with Alaska, but he was fortunate enough to get a moose opening day, 10 a.m. That's the Boone and Crockett all time that I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
So very fortunate there. But once you got this moose down, you break out these big, bulky game bags. And in Alaska, they say cotton kills and there's moisture, September.
For sure.
Rainy season. So a lot of that stuff, just if you get wet, if anything gets wet, it stays wet. And you have to have just quality gear there. So when it comes to a game bag, you want something that wicks away moisture, because if you don't, it's bacteria growth. And that's where these canvas game bags, not only are they just big, bulky, heavy, they get wet, they stay wet, and then guess what? They're even heavier now.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So that was
functionality is zero.
Yeah, exactly. They were tough. We'll give them that.
Durable. We'll give them durable.
Yeah.
So just above a zero.
So they ended up, harvesting this moose, quartering it out, hanging it up in the tree, and you could hear wolves off into the distance where they hung up the quarters. And my dad went down and flashlight trying to see if the game bags are still there, because you don't know in Alaska, And so that's where couldn't locate him, couldn't do any of that. So next time came home, he's like, well, I want to tie some or sew some light reflective tabs on the game bags,
so you find them.
So you can just find them. So it's easier to locate if you're in bear country, all of that stuff, when they're hanging up or at a distance. Simple little flashlight gives you a little reflective back, and you can see it. So that was just like, okay, we'll keep the canvas, but I want to put some light reflective tabs on it for safety.
It's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah.
Next trip, he's like, oh man, these things are heavy though. So how can we fix that? How can we have something that is still tough
around you
and compact and reusable, but just not this, something that wicks away moisture. So that's kind of where our game bag was really born, was after 2 years of self-guided hunting Alaska. And we wanted to be able to obviously have safety features, wick away the moisture, extremely durable, reusable, have closures at the top, because when you're in Alaska, you're dealing with no-see-ums and all sorts of bugs. So,
Yeah.
and even, I mean, archery season, warm conditions,
For sure.
it's all of that stuff. So being able to tie that all in together, and the biggest thing was coming down to the fabric. So that's where we are the only patented game bag on the market.
Yeah.
And the reason being is actually not just the design, but our fabric. It's kind of like the Big Mac sauce, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
The secret sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where our formulation is everything like started in a liquid state. So the fabric is specifically made for us.
I
So it
saw
makes us
that.
so special.
I was gonna ask about that, and I think it's like you have to kill me in order to.
Yeah.
Like you said,
I can tell you, but I'll kill you afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're taking that with you to the grave type thing, right?
yeah,
Or it's
for sure.
or it's passing down, right?
Yeah, I don't even have that. I don't have the recipe.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
But
it's
that was.
close.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think that was one thing I was gonna bring up next, right? Which is like, it is. I don't know. Obviously, I haven't looked, but only patent pending game bag.
Patented.
Or patented, excuse me,
Yeah.
patented game bag, right? And that says a lot, right? Because that's number one, not an easy process.
Definitely not.
Number two, it protects the product, right?
does.
You as a company and you as a design and everything that bag is made of, right? And people sometimes I don't think at times don't understand like how much that strengthens what you do and protects what you guys have built, right? Like
For sure. But I also think it kind of diversifies us into
Yeah.
something that's special, and we're unique in that way. Because if anyone knows that has gone through that process,
Yeah.
there's a process that goes into it.
Yeah,
that They check things, they go over all this stuff. So to be able to acquire something like that, you have to be unique, and we are. And that's
Yeah.
what makes us so special too. But yeah, the fabric itself, it's wicking away moisture, which what you want in the field. You don't want bacteria growth. You'll find some hunters that use other products that they just say their meat is slimy. And they're like, well, I don't understand why. And it's like, well, your game bag is more of a pure nylon material.
hmm
And a pure nylon material, if anyone that has worn a nylon jacket or anything like that, you just know it doesn't breathe.
Yeah.
And that's like the most important thing is having something breathable, because it allows that meat to glaze
100%.
over, age properly,
Yeah.
and just prevent bacteria growth. So our fabric's wicking away that moisture,
Yeah.
letting it age properly, and extremely durable still, yet being compact, washable, reusable. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great. So when you look at it, it's like it's not just a game bag. It's
Yeah.
something game changing, and it comes down to just that fabric alone. It's
Well,
really
and
what makes it
I think
valuable.
like that's where the evolution of things, like even for me, like going back, like I think in somewhere in all my hunting gear, like you can probably still find a set of like cloth, like not even canvas, like old, like almost like mesh netting,
Yeah, like the cheesecloth one.
the cheesecloth
Yeah.
ones, right? And I'm like, I look at those, and I'm like, I don't even know why I probably still. It's like one of those like, man, if everything just goes sideways, or we just have like one of those years and I run out, I'll always have those just in case.
Just
right?
in case.
Just in case that
Yeah.
thing. And it's like I look at those, and then the other side of me goes, why the hell do I even keep those? Those are so worthless to me now. Like I just,
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like at the time when it first came out, it was a good option. But when you really sit down now and look how hunting has evolved to
Yeah.
better technology and all of that, you look at it and you're like, well, it doesn't really make sense, because when I put it over like the bulbous part of the cord or anything, that fabric, it's stretchy. So anything that stretches, and now the pores of that game bag are just opening up, and dirt, bugs, all of that stuff have
Oh, yeah.
access to it. And you're like, well, I don't even know if this is really a game bag. Like,
other than
it's not covering really anything.
yeah, other than maybe just so that you can tie a knot off on it and like
Be able to
get-
hoist it out.
hoist it a
Yeah.
little bit. Like other than that, yeah, 100% right. Like because I can remember seeing those where it's like, if you put them in, hang them in a tree for the day, the next day you look at them and you're just like, when you take them out of those bags, you're like trying to like pry it off of everything that's like crusted onto
Yeah.
them and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's different now. And they served its purpose at the time, but
For sure.
it's definitely
so you
Old
built
school
up
now.
you built a better mousetrap.
yeah. There you go.
That's what Jason always says. So, No, I that's, so 2008,
Hmm.
you start kind of running that process, patented game bag. Now you see, like, you fast forward to today, right? And
Yes.
there are a lot of game bags, and I think the thing that you talked about is where that differentiator. We always talk about like separators in business, right? Like separators in your competition.
Totally.
What are your separators, right? And like to someone that's watching, that's the thing that I would say is like when you look at any other type of bag that's out on the market, like that's what makes you guys different. That's what makes you guys better. That's what like brings you guys to that level where I don't see anybody else that can really
Yeah.
manage or stand up to that same standard that you guys have
Well,
essentially
yeah,
created.
we appreciate it. Thank you. But it's not just our game backs are great, but it's we're it's more the brand of Caribou Gear and
Yeah.
who we are as people.
So talk about that. Like
Yeah,
you've spanned out a lot from there, right? Like if you go to your
totally.
website, there's a lot more than just game bags.
Well, outside of just the products first, I just want to like we are, we're passionate about what we do. We have great customer service and
Yeah.
we want to just help and make the hunting industry better and, have better tasting meat because that's what it really comes down to. When we're
100%.
hunting, the point of going hunting is to eat what you kill.
Right.
So when you do that, and I mean, we take pride in being able to bring food home to families and
For
being
sure.
able to eat what we kill. So it's the biggest thing, and we care about all the hunting community and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
um, being able to just make that difference, and I think the American dream part of it too, like starting from nothing to something, is just it's really
Yeah.
cool to look back on and yeah, so we hope we won't like be an inspiration to like other people too
For sure.
and grow with that.
Right. So talk a little bit about this because like before, like when you came in, we talked a little bit about, you played college baseball, right?
Yes.
You grew up watching, mom and dad, start Caribou Gear and did you during that time, right? So you're kind of like building up, seeing things kind of start working, and you kind of start, before you like, I don't know. I'm just thinking of myself where I'm like, I probably wouldn't have known like what the heck any of that meant at the time. Like, okay, cool, dad, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
Did you see it evolve to a point where you're like, this is what I want to do? Or like, what was your process to get to where you are
So
within the company today?
I was 100% involved from day one. And
Okay.
um, at the beginning, it wasn't necessarily my choice by it because
Were you cheap labor?
yeah, I was middle school going into high school, and it was like, okay, we package our product. So we do still package our product
Yeah.
in-house in Parker. So, fold all that stuff, compress, tie, tag it, box it, ship it out of our warehouse.
Yeah.
We do that. So we started when we got our first order from Sportsman's. It was, oh, happy day. But at the same time, like,
How many
okay,
units?
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And when that process happened, we started in the basement because it was winter time. So
Yeah.
and this table is actually still in our warehouse to this day, but we just had one little table and we were just there folding and packaging, folding and packaging.
Yeah.
And it would be wake up super early all through the night, holidays, all that stuff. And I'm not joking. Like it sucked.
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely a process, and you're like, man, we're just in this dungeon, just working away at it,
Just
and
churning and burning.
so, and then being able to see it evolve into the garage. It's like, okay, now we're in the garage. We needed more space, more racks, more everything, and being able to do that, and it was like, all right, well, we should probably, start a website where we can sell from that because we didn't even have that at the time. It's like, okay, like, how can we maximize production and also sell ourselves, not just to the stores?
Right.
And so from there, we went to the garage, and then we ended up building like another garage next to the house to be able to work out of both garages.
So the new garage became the new headquarters.
Yes, yeah, yep, for a while, and we were there for a little bit. And then from there, it slowly went into us leasing out a building there in Highlands Ranch and having a little storefront, warehouse, office space. And it was great for the time being, but we really blew up in those in the time around COVID.
Yeah,
And in that outdoor space, people just wanted to get outside.
for sure.
So we kind of took off there, and we needed to expand even more. So now we are located in Parker, and we ended up buying a warehouse, and we're building that out and finishing it all off, but a lot more space. It's more of a warehouse space now, but it's great. It's more mainstreamed, even quicker with shipping and all of that stuff. So
All your
definitely can't complain.
processes are.
But looking back, it's like started in the basement.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when I was in, I guess to go on my side of it, high school, all of that, if I wasn't playing baseball or traveling or going to school, my summers were, oh yeah, we were folding because like that summertime is the busiest season
Right.
to get ready for
Sure.
shipments going out May, June, July, all of
Yeah.
the season. So, and had to package just months, and then once we would ship all that stuff out, still package through the season, get ready for trade shows, and that cycle all the way through. And then now we're year round, so the stores carry our products year round now, which is huge now that we, streamlined it a little bit. But
Yeah.
back in that day, you're like, man, this is the process. So we've definitely went through the whole process of it. At the time, like I was, doing email stuff, website design, marketing ideas. And just when you start off and you're a small business, you wear multiple hats, I'm sure, as you know.
sure.
And it's like, okay, yeah, you sent an email to marketing, but I'm marketing, and you send an email to this, well, I'm actually this. So it's nice to be able to, diversify that. And
Now there actually might be someone else who
Yeah.
take fields that email.
Exactly. It makes it a little bit easier, and better customer service too. Because
Yeah.
once you start getting too many things on your plate, you start you can't focus on everything, So it's but you definitely go through all those growing pains and learning things that you just life experiences, that
most
they
definitely.
didn't teach in high school or college, and just simple communication, communicating like that. I feel
Yeah.
like even now, the younger generation, it's even harder to do that and have real conversations and just speak the truth and be real with someone. So
Mhm.
it's, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we're
it's
all
funny
about.
because like as you said that, I was thinking to myself, usually like, in the basement, whatever else, and people have heard me probably talk about this before on the podcast where,
Okay.
I grew up, 30, 40 miles away from where like Dick and Joe Cabela started
Okay.
Cabela's.
Nice. Didn't
And
know
they
that.
started it in the basement of a furniture store in Chapel, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And it's like similar thing. And this is like pre-internet, right? Where it was like they were making fishing lures and, tackle stuff that they were building in the basement. And at that time it was like if you're gonna like market stuff, you're putting out like one of those like 3-inch little ads in like the back of Field and Stream magazine,
Yeah.
like you flip through and like that was the start of it. And now, you fast forward where it's like Cabela's went like this to like building superstores and Bass Pro Shops coming out, and now they went public and then they sold it, which is like heartbreaking to me because it's like
Yeah.
I grew up with friends that were like product testers for them and field guys for them and all this
Okay.
other stuff. So like, it's a whole other story. Like it really kind of grinds my gears,
Just wants to get into it.
to see that. But like as you're saying that, like I'm just thinking to myself, like it's funny how like common those types of things are to like build
Yeah.
a business, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm downstairs like folding these things. Like you're going like, how many more 100 more of these do we have to do, right? Like
It builds character.
yeah,
Lots of character, and it's it's stuff that not only did I learn from my parents, but the business side and baseball. Like,
right,
and I would say any sport really. It's just
yeah,
it builds character, mental toughness, and it's I contribute a lot to like thanking baseball a lot because hey, if you got like hit 300, right? Batting average, well, you failed 70% of the time.
mm-hmm.
But those are still Hall of Fame numbers in the MLB. So
Yeah.
like, I'm not afraid to fail, and I don't think anyone should be. As long as you fail forward, you learn from it
Right.
and you just move on from there. But I think it's better to try and fail at something than to just not try at all, because
Yeah.
you're going to regret it. And that's, I think, the biggest fear is just holding that regret. That sounds scarier to me than never trying at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
learn a lot though.
So essentially, I mean, that's interesting to me because, right, it's like, I think in retrospect, like, again, like I always am internalizing these things. It's like, I grew up where my parents were in like the restaurant business,
Okay, that's tough.
right? And my mom and dad owned, managed, ran, they never had like anyone else run it for them. It was like one of them was always there type thing.
Yeah.
And as someone who was involved in athletics and all those types of things growing up, it was like I knew I could always work and I could always make money because I could always go work at mom and dad's, right? But I also grew up working at mom and dad's and going like, well, I don't want to work in a restaurant the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I wish dad would have made game bags or something like cool. Like I probably would have been totally done with that, right? Like, man. So you picked your parents better, I guess. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
but so talk a little bit about getting outside of game bags. You mentioned, you guys have tarps and you guys do shelters and then, from there you've also spanned a little bit, right? So like you're not, if you go to you guys' website, you don't exclusively just see like 100% just Caribou gear. Like you guys have some other things, some relationships and things like that. Talk about how, you start with the game bag becomes your entry point, and then how that's expanded because now it's like this, it's such a bigger animal, right?
Yeah.
And talk about how you go from that to what, if someone goes to Caribou Gear now, what they see and how you guys kind of attack that kind of growth of what you guys have evolved to.
So to get to that point, it's nothing shiny behind it. It's just that consistency, and it's like you just make connections within the industry. And, we started selling Kinetrek boots, but they sell our products too. So it's just like a nice little partnership where, hey, we'll sell your product, you sell ours, and you go from there. And we wanted to be able to offer more products to our customers, to our visitors. We realized was like, hey, we have a lot of visitors coming to the site looking for game bags, but let's offer them some other hunting equipment too. So along with just growing as a company, well, we reach out to other companies and you kind of just build each other up. Like, hey,
right,
let's we'll sell you some product. Can we sell your product and just partner there? So from just our brand, we sell like Kinetrek boots, Peak Refuel, Mountain House, Jet Boil, so just some cook stuff and tents, sleeping bags, all of that as well. So it's cool because we wanted to try to get to like a one-stop shop as we build our brand too. And that just building our brand, we want to be patient, not just throw a product out there, because we want to make sure that it stands behind, the Caribou Gear name of just being quality and practical, something functional that you can use for multiple things. And as I lead into that, that would be like our hunter's tarp. We have two variations now, but that first variation was the little hunter's tarp. We call it the Colorado now. It's a 5-foot-by-4 tarp. Took years to come out with. And the idea on that was just having something that you could use for multiple things, not just one use or two different things. So we wanted to have something, we were like, okay, let's build a bag. So when you're hiking out, you can have it and you don't get blood all over your pack frame. And as great of an idea that was, it's like, well, who's going to then carry just this bag that you can use to just, if by chance you harvest an animal, you can use this bag and all of this. So just to make sense, we're like, well, let's make a tarp with these attachments to where you could actually configure it as a bag if you needed to. So if you did harvest an animal, you have bloody quarters, and you didn't want to go get your pack frame, or you don't want blood getting all over your pack, you can use the hunter's tarp as a meat pack liner, is what we call it. So it's a blood prevention to get all over you. But you can also use it to glass under, a safety shelter, somewhat as a bivy blanket, because it has a PU waterproof coating on it, 4 layers of it. It's a ripstop nylon, so it's a wind blocker. So with it blocking wind, it's also going to keep heat in.
Yeah.
And it's one of those items that it's a 5-foot-by-4 tarp, 4 tent stakes, and it's one of those items that you didn't realize you needed until you have it and you use it, and you're like, how can I? It's 4.9 ounces in total weight, and it's compact. So it's one of those things that you just keep in your pack because you're gonna use it for something, and there's always new things and new ways to, like, there's new ideas you always find in the field to just use it. It's very functional, and we love it. From there, we branched out to the Montana now, which is a 7x8 tarp. It's a great shelter. It's around 11 to 12 ounces in weight, but it has guy line attachments, trekking pole attachments, and then rings on the inside too. It's all seam sealed. Those rings are nice, so if you did set up like an A-frame or you're glassing underneath, you could, dry out some clothes, put a headlamp under there. It's very functional. You could use it as a shelter if you were really packing in light, wanted to do that too. So, yeah, it's the hunter's tarp lineup, and then eventually we're going to come out with something else too, but I can't talk about that.
Yeah. Still always growing, right? Like, I mean,
always growing, always adapting. It's the way of the game.
Yeah. Well, I remember I saw you at like one of the shows or whatever, and I remember like coming up to you, and I was like, "Hey, man, like I saw this guy wearing a Koyukon, carrying a Koyukon bag in the airport the other day." And you're like, "Really?" And I remember it was like the
coolest thing.
That was like the first time that I had seen someone, and it's not like, but like to see someone in like the airport, right? And it was
weird.
Yeah, and it was a guy where like it's they kind of have a unique look and feel to them anyway, right? And so part of me was like, "Oh, cool, check that out." And like the other part of me was like, "Where's that dude going?" Because in my head I'm thinking like, not everybody like seek out that type of like high quality, high durability, high functionality.
Like, that guy must be serious.
I'm like, he might be someone I should go talk to, right? Like,
okay.
I'm cool. Curious, but like I always remember that, and I was like, I gotta tell Ted next time I see you.
That's awesome. Yeah, when we were in Alaska, actually, after one of our hunts, we were in Fairbanks or Anchorage, and we saw this truck. We were driving down the street, and this truck was driving down the street, and the back of the truck was loaded with our duffel bags. And you were like, "That's so cool!" Doing this for 16 plus years, and you don't realize. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's really cool still to this day to be able to see.
Right?
Yeah, just that's our product. Like, that came from us, and you see it out in the field, or
that's super cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. It's really cool.
I think that's I think that's where you start to like get this sense, or at least I'm like maybe taking a leap a little bit, but I'm like, in my mind, I look at that and think like that has to be a feeling of like accomplishment and pride and things like that, where like you go, man, like what we thought and what we like, all this work we put into it, like someone else agrees in a sense, right? Where they're like,
that's always nice.
That's what I need, and like these guys filled my need, right? And they're willing to reach in their pocket and spend their money.
Yeah, it's
like,
still crazy though.
Yeah,
it's just to think about like, hey, someone wants our stuff. It's great. I mean, it's just, I don't know, because when you look back where we started and just folding in the garage or the basement in the dungeon,
right?
It's you never know. So being able to create something out of nothing and something that people want, or going to the store and seeing your product in there, it's like
So now, like, we talked a little bit about this beforehand too, where I was like, so you've kind of progressed your way into where you're doing a lot in terms of the company and where it's going, and being probably even more like I see you more than like I think I met your dad once at like one of the shows last year or something,
Yeah.
right? And which is like super cool. But like, how do like, is dad at the point now where he's like, oh, you're good, you start like carrying the load? Like, where's that at right now? Because I gotta imagine like dad's kind of at the point where he's like, yeah, you're welcome. I don't know. Like, how is that like relationship wise?
Yeah, so we I would say we work together pretty well. He is, and it hasn't just been recently. He is more of the design side of it. So anything, this logo, he designed it. Our game bags, he freaking sewed the prototype. He did all of that stuff. So any product design, all of that, we never hired out. Like, it was all truly,
Yeah.
him, and he's like the brains behind that. So it was good because he loves doing that, eats, sleeps, breathes it.
The idea guy.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we
concept.
go out into the field and he's just constantly thinking. He's like, okay, what if we, and that's the functionality part. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, here's our prototype. Or even products that we have, and he's like, okay, well, it's great, but how can we make it even better?
Mhm.
So he was always that type. He always wanted me to kind of take this realm of it anyway.
Yeah.
And we, yeah, that's kind of the point now. So he still is involved in the company, still loves going to trade shows, meeting customers, doing that
Sure.
stuff, because just it's still really cool. But he's more of the design side of things, and then now I oversee more things as well. So it's good though. I love it. We definitely grew though together, I would say. It wasn't, we definitely bounced each other like ideas off of each other. He was always like my hunting buddy and I was his. And I remember going
That's
to
cool.
the trade shows here in Denver. We won't name names, but the one that used to be really good.
Yeah.
He would take me, and I mean, he'd tell me a story, like he would push me in a stroller. So it was always like, it's the hunting buddy, And we have old photos of us
Yeah.
hunting together, and I'm holding a camcorder because he's like, I just want to get in the hunting industry somehow. Are we going to record hunts? Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have photos of me. I'm shorter than a shotgun.
Yeah.
I'm not much taller now, but but yeah, so it's we've always
cool.
just kind of been a part of it, and not just my dad, but my mom has been, I mean, in anyone that starts a business, their partner is also just
For
a
sure.
huge backing and all of that. And it's not easy. Definitely
Yeah.
go through your times and you work through it and all of that. So it was growing up seeing that, because I'm the baby of I have three older sisters, so just learning from them and seeing that process of all of it, and then
Yeah.
my parents.
Their sisters involved? They do anything?
They are not. They have their families, their lives, their jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
The hunting side of it was more my dad and I,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where we ran with it and all of that. So yeah. So now fast forward a little bit, but yeah, I was always kind of thrown into that role when I ended baseball there. It was like, all right, well, you're involved now. This is what you're doing, and I was
Right.
like, I'm all for it. Let's do it. And building
That's
something
cool.
out of nothing
Yeah.
it's cool.
So looking forward, right?
Yes.
Are you, like I always talk to people about this, which is like, do you just get like savagely good at what you do, or how much, like in terms of like your vision, right? So you and dad are sitting around talking, and your dad's always like, how do we continue making stuff better, right? Like, are you at that point where you're like, let's be really good right where we're at? Or is there like this mindset of like, we're nowhere close to where we want to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it. I want both.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be greedy about it, but I want to perfect where we're at. But at the same time, I'm not naive. You have to grow and you have to change and you have to adapt. So it's being able to, find that balance of both without losing who you are
Right.
and being able to do that. So that's definitely the goal. And yeah, I mean, I want it all. And
Well, like,
we're a good company. We're a great company, actually, with good morals. We're true hunters,
yeah,
and we develop the best products
yeah,
and continue to grow. And it's honestly now just I want to do brand awareness stuff. I want to get it out there. I want people to know who we are. We're not just some company with no face or making, cheap products or anything like that. We're
right.
real people, care about it. And so the goal from here is just the brand awareness things and just continue to make solid products that are practical.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of the first times I met you was at a trade show here, I think.
Okay.
And the one thing that I remember talking with Brooks about was he was telling me, he's like, bro, like these like rifle covers, like you guys were selling them like crazy. Dudes were like rushing over, it seemed like, to pick those things up, and I
Yeah,
think you sold out of them at
we
that
did.
show. Because like, and I don't know if that was like a new release type thing or whatever, but talk about those, because I like that was kind of like one of my first experiences. I'm like, am I missing something? Like these things must be amazing, right? Because like dudes were literally like, "Hey, I'm gonna be right back. Like make sure you hold one for me," type thing. And you
Yeah.
guys were selling your like rifle covers like crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. It's like one here, two there. I'll take four. I'll take, and you're like, it's great. Yeah. So the rifle cover now, I feel like every time we come out with a new product, it sells better than the last time we launched a
Mm,
product, and it just grew like that because first, like the rifle cover is, I would say now one of our hotter items that we came out with, but people trust the brand. So if they have our
yeah,
game bags and it's quality,
they know
well, you
what
come
they're
out,
getting.
yeah. So if you bought our tarp and that's quality, and they're like, oh, they're 2 for 2, and they came out with this, like,
Yeah.
okay, like I have to get it. And the rifle cover is great because we designed it to just be Alaska tough. Here in Colorado, it can be considered as a ATV soft case, which is a huge benefit.
Really,
Has closures.
that's
So Division of Wildlife, we did confirm that. As long as it's all closed up with the straps, it's ATV soft case. It's huge. It
that's
is
clutch.
waterproof. Double-lined Cordura ballistic fabric at the butt and the barrel of the rifle, so
Mhm.
it's extremely durable. And it'll fit a rifle anywhere from 36 to 56 inches in length, so versatile. And it'll house a suppressor too. So we wanted to make a product that's not one size fits all, and it'll fit most rifles, most suppressors, all of that, while having safety features such as the light reflective property there on the barrel. So if
Mhm.
you are hiking out or anything like that, it's
You're visible.
just, yeah, a safety thing.
Sure.
So yeah, the rifle cover is sweet though, waterproof, all of that, and the soft case part is, I think, was probably one of the bigger sellers and all.
Now, was that something that was intentional, or was that like you decided all the features that were going to go into there, and then you're like, oh, wait, we might have lucked out here?
So yeah. It definitely was. We wanted to add all these features, do all
Right.
these great things, and we were actually at a trade show, and someone asked that question. They're like, "Hey, with all these closures, like, is it considered a soft case?" And we're like, "Wow,
I
that's
don't know.
a great question. Let's go over to Division of Wildlife booth and go ask them." So gave it to one guy, checked it all out, and was sent to another, and got to the main dude, and he's like, they all were like, yeah, I don't see why not. There's nothing hanging out, and it's all closed up, so it's an ATV soft case. And we're like, perfect. We're
Yeah,
gonna run
like
with that.
that's like new marketing right there,
Oh,
right?
for sure. So that was
Yeah.
a huge benefit because those soft cases, they're not waterproof, or if they are, they're big and clunky, and you have to deal with the zipper, and
Yeah.
it's just not as practical as you would like.
Right.
So, yeah, the rifle cover is great. And now we have one in black as well. So it's our like blackout midnight kind of edition, and then we
Nice.
have our sage green too.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. So out of I know we talked beforehand. You're saying you've been on like 3 Alaska moose hunts. Obviously, you hunt here in Colorado and wherever. we'll go a little bit off more of on the fun side of things. Favorite hunt? Okay. Alaska. Hunting for moose.
Yep.
Okay. Bucket list hunt.
Bucket list hunt. I don't really know. I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, not everybody's had an Alaskan moose hunt, so that's like I know Kiefer, a friend of mine, he's a guide or whatever. Like,
Okay.
he's in New Zealand right now.
Okay, that's
like,
cool. That would be neat.
Killed a tar and
Pretty sweet, like caribou up in Canada. That wouldn't be too bad.
Caribou's one of mine.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, like, where does the name come from? Was that like a?
So that was on one of my dad's hunts. I went caribou hunting, and he shot this caribou, and that's kind of where the idea really came from after that. And the logo, Caribou Gear. So this is actually the caribou that he shot. He did a green screen behind it, took an image, and then took out the background and then flipped it.
Inverted it.
Inverted that. And so that's actually his caribou that he shot in Alaska.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, he loves moose hunting. It's his favorite thing to do, but he's like, moose gear. He's like, yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So definitely went back and forth, and that's just how Caribou Gear was born, and
yeah,
rest is history.
Yeah. No, I dig it. Like, that's probably one of mine. Obviously moose would be cool too, but like caribou has a little more uniqueness, I think. And I don't know. I just think they're such cool animals.
Or a sheep. Don't get me wrong. Sheep hunt. That's
yeah. You're not one of those guys just like trying to chase like the slams or anything like that.
No.
I don't think I would live long enough at this point to start chasing all those unless I had insane amount of money.
Yeah,
you might
definitely definitely get pricey. The fitness side of it, I think that'd be pretty cool though. Just I hear how difficult it is. Never experienced it myself, but I think it'd be kind of cool just to maybe not even have a tag, but just tag along on one.
Yeah.
Just to see the process and everything that goes into it, and just the work of going through that. I mean, the hike.
I did that last year with mountain goat.
Okay.
One of our staff members drew mountain goat, and I went just to spot, hike, trek, pack out, whatever. And I was like, he goes, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm in." And same thing. It was It was epic. It was and it was one of the hardest hunts I've ever been on. And it wasn't even, an 8-9 day hunt or anything like that. It was so challenging.
And it's gorgeous up there too.
Absolutely.
The heights that you're
breathtaking.
at.
Yeah. And so like
not many people can see this.
we came off the mountain and like both of our tongues are like hanging down to the ground after that hunt. And then, in the next 2 days, I'm like, man, that was awesome. Like, I totally want to go back. Like,
at the time when you're doing it, you're like,
oh yeah,
I don't be here anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, after, like, this is great. Like, I can't believe I experienced that.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky.
Yeah. No, I'd say that's a good one for sure. Yeah. No, that's cool. Like,
have you done in Alaska? Like, have you been to Alaska to
No.
hunt or anything like that?
No.
If you do, or when you do a float hunt, because it's great. You're able to fish on some remote rivers that no one else is on. You get that rafting aspect of it. You get to see so much of the land.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool experience throughout. A drop camp is great and all, but if you're in a bad moose location, well, you're in a bad moose location and you can't move.
Yeah.
But being on the river, it's exciting. There's so many curveballs that are thrown your way that you just adapt to, and you're like, okay, in 14 days we have to be at this pickup location. Here are the coordinates, so we have to methodically plan out our route on this river. We can't spend too many days in this one spot.
Right.
So it's a fishing trip, a hunting trip, rafting. I mean, it's everything, and you just experience so much of Alaska by
That sounds
doing
all
that.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, when I got my moose in 2018, it was like one of those things. I'm not one to like cheer or do anything like that, but I just couldn't help myself when I finally,
Yeah.
after, I don't know, almost a month worth of being in Alaska,
Yeah.
not getting anything, to be able to pull that trigger on just a Yukon moose, and their bodies are massive and all of that stuff. It's
Yeah.
crazy. You see it on the ground and you literally have to turn your head from one side to the other to see the whole body.
To cover it.
And then you realize you're like, okay, like that, I thought it was a lot of work before, but
Yeah.
now that's where it separates you.
So how many people were in your hunting party?
3 when I got my moose. It was my dad, me, and another buddy. That was it.
How packing that thing out.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I gotta hear it.
So we were in just marshy area. So this one was actually a 21-day hunt. It was on the 14th day. So you're already pretty discouraged floating these rivers. You're like,
Yeah.
have we not seen anything yet? And we roll up to camp late afternoon, and we're setting up camp. And when you're doing that, you have to find a place to hang up your dry bags for food, an
Yeah.
area that you're going to eat, set up your camp, but it all has to be distanced out because of bear country. And we are eating our dinner, freeze-dried meal. We all of a sudden just look across, and there's just a moose standing there out of nowhere. Like, didn't even hear you. You're massive.
Yeah.
And, he's grunting and walking up the river, and we get a good look at him. And by the time we figure everything out, we're like, okay, that's a legal bull, and we want to go after it. Well, it starts going down the river. They're so big, make up so much ground with their long legs that
Right.
it swam across the river to our side and was circling all the way back behind our camp. So from when we were like, all right, saw it, figured, okay, that's a shooter, grabbed the rifle, it was already working its way behind our camp.
It was coming to you,
Yeah, around us.
towards you,
Yeah.
closer.
And so we just booked it straight back. And when you're on that riverbank, it's not as thick, but once you start getting farther off some of those areas, I mean, it's just
Advantage.
super thick bushes, marshy area. And there was this window where I'm like, okay, I'm literally jogging to it to like at least try to get a shot off because we were camping in these trees. So I'm booking it through these trees, and I finally get to the opening, and it's right before it's about to go into like just thick bush. I lean up against a tree, 50, it's not a terrible shot, 50 yards, but it was just so quick, heavy breathing, like take
Yeah,
your breath and
yeah.
just pull the trigger. And I remember I pulled the trigger, and it just took one more step and then just crashed down. And he was just like, I like you didn't. It happened so fast you didn't
Hard
have
to
time to really
process.
think about
Yeah.
it, about what just happened or what you were about to do.
Right.
So once it happened, you're like, did I really I did that? Like
Yeah.
it just happened, and it was one of the greatest feelings ever just to accomplish something like that. And you go over to it, and you're like, this is huge, and then the adrenaline wears off,
And then
you're
the
like,
work starts.
yeah. So, I think we timed it after, doing photos and all that stuff. It was around like 8 p.m. We didn't get back. I mean, and when you're processing and doing all this, you're making noise, you're setting up lights,
Yeah.
making as much noise as possible to like kind of
Yeah.
scare bears away
Yeah.
and not have them
You,
not
you,
jump
you,
on them or
you,
anything like
you don't
that.
want to be really subtle and quiet.
No, definitely not. Just
You just soon have like an air horn freaking blowing. You're like,
seriously.
hey, get out
Get
of
out of
here.
here. Yeah, we're trying to work. So doing all that, hiking back and forth, and you're very cautious because it's tall grass, marshy. It's tough to walk through. It's like hiking through a sand or just a swamp, basically,
Yeah.
with just heavy packs. And it took us, I think we sat down at the riverside next to camp at 3 a.m. So
Yeah.
8 p.m. to 3 a.m. and saw the aurora borealis, which was the coolest thing. It was just a magical like 8 hours there to where you like shot your first moose, hike it out, and after all that hard work, you sit down, you're just dead tired, and you look up at the sky, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think I lived my dream hunt.
That may be the best answer we've had yet, right?
Yeah.
Where, usually somebody's like, this is my bucket list. Like, I
Yeah.
really want to go do this. And like, you're like, let me tell you about my dream hunt that I already had.
Yeah, I mean, I
Tough to top.
appreciate everything. So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, well, I don't need more.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for what I have and thankful
sure.
for the trips that I've been on. So
Yeah.
it's
You've
good.
been on 3 more Alaskan hunts than I have, that's for sure. But like, I don't know, like I'm also of like the type, for me personally, where I'm not, I don't chase, or I'm like, I got to shoot a bighorn and I want to shoot a desert and I want to shoot a mountain, like, I mean, I'd like to go do those hunts, but like, guys have these like standards of, like, I want to do this and this and this and this and this and this. And like, even for me, like, I think sometimes people are surprised because I'm like, I don't even really deer hunt that much.
Okay, yeah,
And the main reason is because I like elk meat better. And
that's fair.
if I had the option, I like moose even better than that. And, obviously it's a little tougher to do that, but, at the end of the day, like, that's why I kind of almost prioritize hunting elk more than I do anything else. Like, I should be able to get a good deer tag this year. And I'd like to shoot a really nice deer, but realistically, as you said, the where the rubber meets the road is I want to fill some tags to have
Yeah, just the meat alone.
the meat alone,
good.
right? And so, I don't intend to or plan to and don't have like some wall of fame with all these like heads and crap, and like I think everybody knows people like that, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
and there's
nothing against them.
nothing against it, but like that would never be me. I don't have any desire to do that. I don't have a big enough house for any of that. I don't have enough money for any of that.
Okay.
And like, it's just one of those things where like that's where hunting for me is like that's what it's all about. And it sounds like, and I think that's what's cool about listening to your story is like the company started from that same line of thinking, right? Which was like, it wasn't like you go, oh, I want to create a company. It was, we hunt and we love to hunt and we love the outdoors. And I found something that I think I could do better. And it just so happened to be that it like mixed with my passion to be in the outdoors. And so that to me, makes it like super cool. So, where do people find you guys? We want to make sure that, as we kind of cap things off here on the whole day.
Yeah. No, so not just at the big box stores, but we have our own website. It's caribougear.com, or you can go to also koyakongear.com as well. And then you can find us on social media under Caribou Gear on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that too. YouTube. And then same goes for Koyakon Gear as well.
Yeah. Retailers, what like you said, Sportsman's,
Bass Pro, Cabela's, Shields, all the major big box
all
stores.
the big dogs.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Must be doing something right.
Hey, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, well, congrats. It's always fun for us to meet people like yourself that have found success and people that we always talk about that we're a big part of what we do and in the things that like we like to support is like stuff that we know, stuff that we trust, stuff that we actually would put in our pack, stuff that we're going to use to process, stuff that we're going to use to to wear or whatever that might be. And I think that's tough sometimes in today's like craziness of social media and all that kind of stuff. And you see people that are like, oh yeah, like I'll peddle this or I'll promote this or whatever else. And I'm just like, you're talking about kind of the social media aspect and some of those things. It's like, I don't have any desire to do that. Like I want to, the things that I would, if you ran into me in the woods and be like, what do you got? And just like laid all my stuff out. Like those are the things that I want to support and promote. Like,
totally. And
right?
that's what we want to do too, is like we want our customers to feel good about using our product and, supporting the brand and who we are as people. And, not, be ashamed to be like, yeah, this is quality stuff, and they want to be proud to tell their friends. That's who Caribou Gear is, and that's what we want to be for our customers.
Nice. Well, I know we got some events coming up. I'm sure we'll look forward to rubbing elbows a little bit and hanging out a little more socially. Thanks for coming over and doing the the flagship of the Pump in a Pod.
Heck yeah.
It was fun. I tried to do my best to keep up with you and throw a couple of things at you. The only leg I had up was I might have at least gave you some stuff you hadn't done before, maybe.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. So, but guys, be sure, go out, check out Caribou Gear, KoiCon. Like, these guys are doing some awesome stuff, based out of Colorado, obviously, but you can find them anywhere in all the major retailers. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Yes.
Continued success.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad we were able to make this work.
Yeah, well, we'll do it again.
Facility here.
Yeah, we'll do it again, and you're always welcome to come back. We can do an off-script workout any other time, and now you know where we are, and hopefully we'll be here a while longer. So
yeah,
I'm sure we're just starting to get settled into this space. So but appreciate it, man. Awesome. All the best, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Be sure to go check out Caribou Gear. Check out the show notes. We'll be sure all the connectivity is down there so you guys know where to find them. And if you're out and about at any of the big shows around the country, it's a pretty good chance that you'll see Ted and the crew out there as well. So stop by and say hi, meet them, and be sure to get you guys hands on the best game bags and some of the best gear out there today. So until next time, see you guys.